Joining us now in the studio is our political expert and observer Ozhet Shigirbayev with his segment Central Asia in Focus. Welcome, Ozhet.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Ozhet, as you've seen, a significant part of our program today has been dedicated to the state visit of General Secretary To Lam. I can't miss the chance to briefly discuss the outcomes of this visit with you. In your view, what are Vietnam's long-term goals in making Kazakhstan its first strategic partner in Central Asia?
Well, the recent state visit of General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Mr. To Lam, to Kazakhstan marked a new milestone in the development of bilateral relations between the two countries. As you already noted, one of the key outcomes of the visit was the signing of a joint statement on further deepening cooperation, in which both sides confirmed the transition to a comprehensive strategic partnership. This decision reflects the mutual commitment of Astana and Hanoi to build sustainable and multifaceted relations, encompassing political and diplomatic dialogue, trade and economic cooperation, scientific and educational exchange, as well as cultural and humanitarian engagement. And of course, particular attention during the negotiations was given to the issue of trade and economic cooperation. Kazakhstan views Vietnam as an important partner in Southeast Asia, especially in the context of the free trade agreement between Vietnam and the countries of Eurasian Economic Union. Growth in trade turnover, investment, cooperation, and establishment of joint ventures are the key areas in which both countries can make rapid progress, provided there is a political will and institutional support.
Thank you very much, Ozhet, for your insights. I know you've prepared a detailed roundup of this week's top news stories from Central Asia. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Here's my top 5 news topics in Central Asia this week. On May 5th, in the Iranian city of Shiraz, the Tajik-Iranian Investment and Business Forum was held as a part of the 17th meeting of the Tajikistan-Iran Joint Intergovernmental Commission. The event brought together representatives from the ministries and agencies of both countries, as well as participants from the private sectors of Tajikistan and Iran. At the forum, first Deputy Chairman of the State Committee on Investments and State Property Management of Tajikistan, Mr. Farukh Yusufzada, and the Governor of Iran's Fars province spoke about the current state and prospects for expanding economic and investment cooperation between the two nations. In his speech, the Governor of Fars province, Hosseini Al-Amiri, noted that in the recent years, political and economic relations between Iran and Tajikistan have developed rapidly. Today, a significant number of Tajik citizens travel to Shiraz for medical services, while also visiting the city's historical landmarks, which are part of the shared Persian culture heritage. As a result, one of the topics raised was the establishment of direct flight between Dushanbe and Shiraz. Currently, there are 160 companies operating in Tajikistan with the Iranian capital. In 2024, the volume of cargo transportation increased by 3.2 times compared to the previous 2 years. The foreign trade volume between Tajikistan and Iran reached 377.7 million of USD in 2024, an increase of 123.2 million or 48.4% compared to 2023. Both countries aim to raise the bilateral trade turnover to 500 million. Uzbek airline, My Freighter, which operates under the brand Centromea, plans to launch direct scheduled passenger flights on the Almaty-Tashkent route, with a frequency of 2 flights per week on Mondays and Thursdays. But starting from June 6th of this year, 1 more weekly flight will be added on Fridays, which will bring the total to 3 flights per week. My Freighter, based in Tashkent, operates both passenger and cargo flights. The airline was established in January 2020 and carried out its first passenger flight in February 2023. The increase in flight frequency between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan is expected to further enhance trade, economic, tourism and cultural cooperation between two countries, as well as promote greater competition and lead to lower airfares. In the first quarter of this year, China imported 3,000 tons of medicinal raw materials used in traditional Chinese medicine, also called TCM, through the Kyrgyz border checkpoint. The main exporters of this type of product are Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. With the growing development of the traditional Chinese medicine, the demand for the medicinal raw materials which are used in TCM continues to rise, and China is steadily expanding its import. To ensure efficient customs clearance of imported TCM raw materials, customs authorities at Kyrgyz have implemented measures such as expedited issuance of phytosanitary certificates and non-administrative inspection procedures. Customs officials also noted that last year dried root bark of the ditory tree was imported into China through Kharkov for the first time. Earlier this week, Kazakhstan's Ministry of Trade reported that China remains one of Kazakhstan's key trading partners. According to data from the Eurasian Economic Commission, 2 EU member states have shown rising business activity over the past 2 years. However, by the end of 2024, some member countries began to experience a slowdown in economic growth compared to the same period of the previous year. As of December 2024, Eurasian Economic Commission estimates indicate that the economies of Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan continued to grow, while Russia's economy had already begun to slow down. Meanwhile, Armenia and Belarus have also been experiencing a deceleration as they did in December 2023. This trend is linked to a strong growth at the beginning of 2024, followed by a gradual decline towards the end of the year. According to Kazmunaygaz, the first Kazakh self-elevating drilling rig, SAT, will be deployed at the Chelyken oil field in Turkmenistan. The rig is currently undergoing technical preparations for towing to its destination. The contract for drilling services in the Turkmen sector of the Caspian Sea was signed in 2024 between the subsidiaries LLP KMG Drilling and Services and Dragon Oil Turkmenistan Limited. SAT is a unique rig designed with advanced technologies for drilling in challenging offshore environments. Following its 2021 upgrade, its lifting capacity increased from 453 to 680 tons. The rig is capable of drilling wells up to 7,000 meters deep. Overall, this initiative is expected to enhance Kazakhstan's presence in the global oil field services market and strengthen economic cooperation between Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan, the source notes. Earlier in October 2024, a branch office of the Kazakh company KMG Drilling and Services was opened in Ashgabat to support continued operations in Turkmenistan related to drilling at Chelyken field. That's all from my part, Dorian. Giving the floor back to you.
Thank you very much, Ojed, for this detailed review.